Have you ever wondered whether it's better to have a clean, orderly shop or a messy shop? I'm going to get into my opinion on that now, as well as an update on the channel. Welcome to Urban Monk TV. Okay, first an update on the channel. What's going on? Why haven't I uploaded another video on the CX? Here's what happened. I had a visit from my father who came and stayed with me through the last weekend and was just busy with him. A little bit distracted from my YouTube obligations here. And what I did was neglected to order parts that I need for the exhaust, because I need to put that back on the bike now. And so now I'm waiting on exhaust gaskets so that I can get back to, I'm really close to starting the CX500 and tuning the carbs. So what we're going to do next is get these carburetors tuned on the CX500, and we're going to use our carb sync gauges that I got these from AlphaMoto or thealphamoto.com, and I also will be using for the first time my auxiliary fuel tank that I also got from AlphaMoto. And in the past you've seen me with Mr. Corton, my cafe racer, either balance the gas tank up on a ladder, which is precarious, and if it drops, you know, you're gonna damage a vintage tank. And so I'm excited to give this thing a swing. I have really good expectations for it. If you're interested in some of these tools from AlphaMoto, I do have a link in the description below, and they've been kind enough to offer me a discount code, UMTV. So if you use the link and use that code, you can get a discount on parts. And also on these, there's kind of the age-old question as to whether or not these reasonably inexpensive vacuum gauges are accurate. I've actually done a video on the accuracy of these things, so check that out. A link below in the description. But we'll do that. I just got to wait for those exhaust gasket parts to arrive. So I've got that video on how to install the carburetors and also a video on cleaning them a little bit on the Honda CX500, so check those out. You may have noticed that my shop is a bit messy, and in my life I'm actually generally a pretty orderly person, but my father was visiting and his first comment was, "This place is a mess. Why don't you get it cleaned up? You know, how can you find anything in here?" And then my wife does like to comment sometimes that this is a bit of a disorderly space. And you know, we all get a lot of pressure in life, either at work or at home or whatever, to declutter and clean up our lives and organize. And of course we've got a whole industry and big stores around organization and storage of all this stuff we accumulate. Here's the thing. You may have also, like me, seen reports that Thomas Edison or Albert Einstein had very messy desks. And, you know, who's right? Who's wrong here? What does the science say? Well, a while back I took a look into this question, and I did find a study at the University of Minnesota, which I'm probably from Minnesota. Actually, I'm from North Dakota, but I've lived there for 21 years and have always considered myself very Minnesotan. Anyways, University of Minnesota did a study on this. They took a group of people, split them in half, and put one half into a messy environment and another half into a very orderly and neat environment, and asked them to come up with novel ideas for the use of a ping pong ball. And so what, in short, the study found was that the group who had the neat and orderly space and the group in the messy room equally came up with an equal number of ideas. But an independent panel also judged these ideas on their creativity. And it was found that the group in the messy room had by far and away the most creative ideas. And so what I took from that was, if the purpose of your work in this space, in this environment, is something where you want to do high volume, precision, cookie cutter, repetitive types of maybe assembly line work, then neat, orderly space is your friend. But if you want to be a creative thinker and be working outside the box, then a messy environment tends to be, well, more conducive to that kind of result, according to the study. I gotta say, in my own life, I feel like my experiences mirror those results. So take from that what you will, but here in the shop, I'm not building 500 CX500s, I'm working on one. And I need to come up with really creative ideas on how to accomplish the results there. Or when I'm working on Mr. Corton, that's a custom build. There's a lot of art and creativity involved with custom builds. I feel like a messy environment, it helps me get there. The other thing too is I'm able to connect dots that I might not otherwise connect, because if I have everything neat and orderly, I have it put away. And in large part, a lot of things are out of sight, but if they're out of sight, they're out of mind. And if they're out of mind, then that's harder for me to connect disparate dots and be creative and come up with some novel new idea. So here in my shop, I'm trying to be creative, and I'm working on one single item, one piece, not a repetitive assembly line type of process. So I'm a fan of a messy shop. I've got nothing against an orderly shop, especially for the kind of shop that's doing jobs over and over again. If I was running a business here in motorcycle mechanics, I would tend to think that I would want to be a lot more orderly. Now, don't get me entirely wrong, my shop is not without some order, especially in here. I know the screwdrivers are in here. It's a little disorderly, but I know that I mainly work from this area. I can find my JIS like that, and I can find my impact right here. I know where things are within this drawer. And like my sockets and my ratchet set, for instance, I know they're in this drawer, and I don't have these strewn all over inside the drawer rolling around. I keep them in order, and when I get done working for the day, I do put them back in here. You see all of this talk on social media about losing the 10mm. I know where mine is all the time. I've never lost this. I know the metric wrenches are here, standard and ratcheting. I know the SAE are here. I know my torque wrenches are back there. So, this is essentially an artist's studio, and if you've been in an artist's studio, they're usually pretty messy. In fact, I have a friend who is truly an artist and makes his living as an artist, and we've had discussions about how his studio and shop are completely a mess, but that somehow he knows where everything is in there, and I'm the same way with this place, and that he comes up with great creative pieces and makes a living in this world as an artist. So tough to argue with that. So those are just my thoughts on messy versus orderly. Hey, if you guys like this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you want to become an urban monk. And if you like motorcycles, check out my book, Creating Mr. Corton, a memoir of the build of my GS550 Cafe Racer. It's available on urbanmonktv.com. Thanks for watching. If you like motorcycles, custom builds, or just like a good story about a man's 3-year effort to build a tribute to his childhood teacher, get a copy of Creating Mr. Corton. In it, you'll learn how this man changed this man for the better. How this man took this and built this. How these guys became lifelong friends and enthusiasts of motorcycling and craftsmanship. And how the name Urban Monk originated. It's available from Amazon anywhere in the world that Amazon ships, in both paperback and ebook, or you can purchase through a link found on urbanmonktv.com. Get your copy of Creating Mr. Corton today.